If you've got your man, it took some time to accomplish that, but obviously the goal was to get what you wanted, and ultimately I sense that you feel that way.
We do. You know, I think we had the benefit of speaking with really high quality candidates and coaches, and that led to a real confident feeling that we were going to have the right coach and when we made our selection. But I can't say enough about the quality of the group that we spoke with and the strength that we felt in making this selection for Monty.
You let the process play itself out, and it's no secret that Tom Thibodeau was a candidate for the job. And if you want to get your guy, you're willing to wait to get whoever you can get, and obviously that was part of this consideration.
Well, I think the process and how we followed it was one that we wanted to be as diligent as we could with all of our candidates. Excuse me.
It's okay.
And when the selection was to be made, that's pretty much the direction we would go. So, but we were impressed with a number of candidates and pleased to be able to welcome Monty into the fold.
Was the ownership situation ever an issue during this process with prospective candidates?
No, it wasn't. The ownership issue was obviously discussed from an information standpoint, but it was not an impact on the decision making of as far as our coaching selection or coach's acceptance.
You went through the process of being upstairs to being on the bench, so you know full well what Monty's going to be dealing with, and so much has been said, written, spoken about of how coaching is more managing people than it is coaching the game. How true is that? And if that's the case, what does he bring to the table?
Well, I think it's both. It's obviously the ability to manage people is a huge part of being successful as an NBA head coach, but you still have to have the technical ability to coach and to make changes and to teach and to correct and get players to do things that they inherently don't want to do but need to do. So there's no getting around or away from that. I think Monty has all the qualities that a player will look at and believe in and trust his decisions and trust his plan for getting there. And I think his energy and desires to be successful will lead him to that success.
And what role, if any, did Chris Paul play throughout this process?
Well, we think that Chris is obviously a outstanding player and has a huge impact on our team. We had understandings at the beginning of the process of what we felt we needed to do for us to get better, and we wanted to get the right coach for Chris Paul as well as our entire roster. And that's a very important point, that we wanted to get someone who could deal with a star player and someone that could understand an end-of-the-bench player as well, because he needs to be able to coach every one of our players. And we feel that Monty's understanding and empathy and experiences will allow him to be successful with all of those players on the roster.
Final question, twofold. With last year's team, they seemed to play better when they played fast. You coached the team, so obviously you would know, and the younger players had a lot to do with that. Of course, defense was a major issue, so taking those two things into consideration, Thibodeau clearly a defensive type of guy. What about Monty and what he brings to this, and combining that with the elements that this team did well last year and didn't do well?
Right. Well, Monty comes from programs that were sound defensively, and has an understanding of the need for balance in today's game. Defensively, is going to be very strong and a heavy emphasis on that. But it's also a vehicle to lead to your offense. And your point about being better when we played fast, I think, is accurate. Hopefully the defense is able to turn into an offensive conversion, and that's pretty much the philosophy and approach, I think, that will be implemented. Okay. Okay.
Thank you much.
You bet. Good
As
seeing
always.
you.
Okay.